Rockin' Stone Miners, I'm your host, Get Good Fox, and welcome to this week's Deep Dive plus Elite Deep Dive walkthrough guide. This is for the week of June 8th through June 14th, and I've already beaten both of the dives, so I'm going to be showing you what I encountered along the way and what I did to overcome them so that you can bring home all of those overclocks. And I gotta say, these dives were quite easy. This was probably the easiest Elite Deep Dive I've done so far, so I do recommend giving it a try if you've never done an Elite Deep Dive before and you're curious about them. Now remember, you can find me on Twitch on Thursdays if you'd like to watch me overcome the deep dives every Thursday on Twitch at Get Good Fox. So let's go ahead and get started first with the deep dive, then the Elite Deep Dive, and then we'll wrap things up with my recommended dwarf picks. So our deep dive takes place in the glacial strata, and overall this is not a bad biome to be in, but remember there is no natural lighting, there's no glowing rocks, there's no bioluminescent plants, so it's very dark, so I do recommend bringing a scout on it. Mission 1 has a difficulty of Hazard 3. You're going to be salvaging 2 mules, collecting 2 alien eggs, expect 1 swarm, and there's a mutator in effect, which is regenerative bugs. This causes the bugs to begin healing themselves if they go undamaged for a certain amount of time, very similar to the way your shields regenerate. My tips here would be, well, bring the Beast Tamer perk. That's a fun perk, and the Steve pet that you charm gains the benefits of regenerative bugs, so he will heal, but otherwise, a very short and simple mission. Nothing complicated. Mission 2 is a difficulty of Hazard 3.5. You're going to be refining some liquid morkite, recovering a black box, and there's a mutator in effect, which is a Mactera plague. This will cause most of the enemies to be replaced with Macteras, and so my first tip is to bring some cold weapons. If you're a scout, bring cryo grenades. If you're a driller, bring the cryo cannon. If a Mactera freezes, they will hit the ground, shatter, and die instantly. It's very satisfying. It's the perfect time to do it, and the Macteras are weighted pretty heavily, meaning one Mactera is kind of viewed by the game as like 5 or 6 glyphids. So if you can knock out the Macteras efficiently, you'll find the cave to be very, very empty. But if you bring a scout, you can find the wells very easily. You bring a driller, you can drill a path, connect the pipes. It's super simple. There's nothing else to say about it. Finally, Mission 3, difficulty stays at Hazard 3.5. You're going to be collecting 6 alien eggs, expect 2 swarms. You'll also need to collect 150 morkite, and there's a mutator in effect, which is low gravity. This causes you to jump higher, float in the air longer, and be able to fall farther without taking damage. You will still take falling damage, and you can still die, however, so don't push your luck. And this should be a very standard kind of egg collecting, morkite mining mission. There's no tricks here, except for the low gravity, which actually just makes it easier because you can easily jump around to escape the bugs. Should be a very easy mission. So let's just move right into the Elite Deep Dive. It's going to take place in the Azure Weld, which I would say is a good biome. There's not a whole lot of bad stuff about it. Mission 1 has a difficulty of Hazard 4.5. You're going to be collecting 250 morkite, recovering 1 black box, and there's a mutator in effect, which is Mactera Plague. This will replace most of the enemies with Macteras, and since Macteras are vulnerable to cold, once they are fully frozen, they hit the ground and shatter. That means if you're playing as a scout, bring cryo grenades. If you're playing as a driller, bring a cryo cannon. It will easily defeat the Macteras. It's also very satisfying. Once again, the Macteras are weighted rather heavily in the game, meaning the game kind of values a single Mactera as like 6 glyphids or so. So if you could kill the Macteras, the cave is going to be practically empty, and that's going to make this a very, very simple mission. If you're doing the black box and you do get surrounded, it would be useful if you're a gunner to throw down a shield to give you 360-degree protection, but it's not a difficult mission. Moving on into Mission 2, difficulty goes up to Hazard 5. Objectives are to salvage 2 mules and kill a dreadnought. It will specifically be a hive guard. In addition to that, though, you've got 2 mutators in effect. First, it's a cave leech cluster. This causes a large amount of cave leeches to spawn in, and there's going to be about 7. That's how many I confirm kill on. There's also going to be critical weakness. This is a great one. It causes when you shoot an enemy in the weak point, it will do up to 5 times more damage. My tips here is it's not a very large map, so what I would recommend doing is group up together and clear out the cave leeches. Like I said, look for about 7 of them, and I found that the cave leeches were either alone by themselves or they paired up in clusters of 2. So just go around, it's a small map, just clear out all of the cave leeches. I would say just look for about 7, and then you should be good to go. The boss fight shouldn't be a problem because the battlefield is really, really wide and open, which is great for you, bad for the hive guard. An easy way to beat it down is to just have one dwarf use a weapon that slows it down, and then everybody gets behind it and just beats the crap out of it. I use the Shard Diffractor with the Dazzler module, which is a simple non-overclock way to do this. You can also use like Neurotoxin, anything that'll slow the boss down, and it won't be a problem. Nice and simple mission. All right, let's finish strong though. Mission 3, difficulty is up to hazard 5.5. Your objectives are to collect 6 alien eggs, expect 2 swarms. You got to get 1 more black box, and there are no mutators. It's a very honest mission. There are no tricks left here. So what do? Just get in. It's a small map and go straight to the black box. You will see it across the main chamber, and fortify the black box. Call in your ammo, deploy your turrets. It's actually a pretty good place to fight off the glyphids, and what you'll do is kind of make this your headquarters, and you do the black box, and then you get the eggs. Grab an egg, and then come back to the black box, which is where your ammo and turrets are, and you'll find it's really, really easy because you've already fortified that area, and that area is already pretty good for battling the various glyphids and Macteras that are going to spawn. Most of the eggs are pretty close to the black box as well. One of them is further away across the hallway, and honestly, if you've got like an engineer and a scout, or engineer and a gunner, you could just fire your zip lines or grappling hook. The gunner could just give you a platform, and you can easily obtain all of the eggs and return to the black box to a good defensive position easily. I actually didn't even feel like it was hazard 5.5. I was shocked at how easy it was. Right, so MVP time. Fox's MVP Dwarf picks for the deep dive and the elite deep dive. First, the standard deep dive MVPs are Scout and Driller. Why Scout? Well, you're in the glacial strata. Like I said, it's very dark, so the Scout's flares, being able to attach them to the walls or the ceiling, absolutely amazing. It'll also let you locate all of those things that you need to very easily, whether it be mules, eggs, Morkite wells to call in the pump jacks, absolutely amazing. And finally, you do have a Mactera plague, so bring out those cryo grenades. It's so satisfying to just freeze Macteras and watch them fall to the ground and shatter. Very awesome. Now, the Driller, awesome complement to the Scout here. You also have the ability to freeze Macteras because you got the Mactera plague. Bring out that cryo cannon, freeze them and watch them crunch. Then you've got the on-site refinement. You got to build the pipes and attach them to the pump jack. Who better to do that though than the Driller? Drill a nice clean path, build beautiful pipes. It's gonna be great. Now for the Elite Deep Dive, MVPs are going to be Scout again, combined with the Engineer. Now, for the Scout, once again, it's the lighting that's going to make a big deal here. You've got cave leeches. They're on the ceiling. It's dark up there. It's hard to see. That's their advantage, but not with the flares. Shoot the flares up, reveal all of the leeches, kill them, just make them obsolete. Bam, you counter that threat completely. You've got Macteras again. Well, what do you know? You've got cryo grenades again. In addition to that, you've got that critical weakness. Well, what do you know? The Scout's weapons, for the most part, are fairly accurate. Great time to use the Scout. Scout also has extreme speed, able to outflank enemies easily. Going to be great against the Hive Guard, especially if your buddies are slowing the Hive Guard down. And of course, you're going to be able to easily acquire all of those eggs and other resources with the assistance of an Engineer, who is my second pick. So, the Elite Deep Dive here, every single mission features at least one defensive objective, whether it be a black box or if it's a salvage operation. Engineer is great. Turrets are awesome. Turrets are going to mow down those Macteras, thin out all the little crummy guys, and you've got access to the Shard Diffractor. The Shard Diffractor with the Dazzler module, an easy way to slow enemies down. Going to be great against the Hive Guard. The Smart Gun also has the ability as your primary weapon to lock onto the cave leeches even if you can't see them, and of course easily recover all of the eggs by combining with a Scout with the platform gun. It's going to be great. It's going to be easy. It's very painless. That's what I recommend. Anyways, let me know what you think down in the comment section. Like the video if it was entertaining. Of course, stay tuned for another deep dive strategy guide as well as Season 4 coming out on the 15th of June. There's going to be a lot more Deep Rock Galactic content when that happens. Till next time, though, remember that you don't have to be good to get good.